Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video. Greetings everybody, let's take a look guys at the euro currency again. Well, situation on the euro currency right now, it's not very simple, and we could say even more that the situation is really sophisticated here, because the puzzle of the market action that we see on the higher time frame chart can't accept this recent action to the upside, and in general all this action here, because if you will take a look at the weekly time frame chart, you'll see that this action can't be built in the overall price action there, and in the setup that offers and comes from higher time frame chart. This is a bit curious action, and it's very difficult, and this action doesn't match the higher time frame picture, and it's very difficult to build this picture in some analysis of the higher time frame charts, because we know that on the weekly time frame chart we have the weekly butterfly pattern that has triggered particularly this move down. Here we've got the retracement up, and it seems that the second leg of this ABCD pattern downward retracement has started, because deeper retracement was assumed by the butterfly pattern. At the same time, market with this calling on the 2 weeks ago has formed the bearish stop grabber that also stands in a row with the possible downward action, and in general looks reasonable. But what that was, this action to the upside. Previously we have said in our fundamental part of the previous research that there is some tensions between the market mechanics and the investors' relation to the euro currency right now, and the position of the European Central Bank and the Mario Draghi in particular, who said that they will try to avoid any appreciation of the euro currency, because that's not very good for current stage of the European economy, and they do not need to get to have too strong currency right now, and they will apply any steps to keep this process under government, under rule of the European Central Bank, to avoid a significant increase in value of the euro currency. That's why this reminds me the situation that was with the Swiss franc. If you remember, when during the crisis, the government of the Switzerland announced that they will be support and will prevent any appreciation and increase the value of the Swiss franc, because that was really a significant demand for the safe haven currencies, Japanese yen, especially the Swiss franc. And the value of the Swiss franc was too significant. That was not very good for the economy. And you probably remember how difficult and how really tricky situation was with the trading of the Swiss franc in this moment. So something of that sort, but it's a bit smoother way, but still something of that sort we have right now. And this move up is not very logical in current environment, because if we will expect downward action, why market has stopped somewhere in the middle of this CD leg, taking the pulse, turn to the upside, even has formed here some hint of the possible bullish dynamic pressure, because trend was bearish. Market already has shown nice plunge down with these long shadows, move below the weekly monthly pivot point, start move down, but suddenly has stopped, turned to the upside and returned and wake up. That looks suspicious, and that's why the situation is very tricky, because this holdings of the market in this area, this pause in the downward direction, looks curious and not very logical in the current environment. That makes me worried that market in fact could turn to the upside and form, as we discussed, this possible butterfly sell pattern with a fast appreciation to the upside. But that hasn't happened yet. And currently, the most problem, the major riddle for us stands what we could do in the current environment. Whether we could trade in any direction, or we better to not trade at all for some period. In fact, currently, when you have a bit blur situation on the market, although you may even have some patterns that were confirmed, as we have on the weekly time frame chart, we have the bearish grabber. But if market doesn't show the normal development, normal action with this pattern, you could act by two different ways. In two ways. The first way is do nothing, as usual, but not quite absolutely do nothing. To watch for breakout, because in fact the fact that market stands in a tight range is the moment of the building an energy, and the energy that market will build here will add significant acceleration to the breakout, either to the upside or to the downside. Probably maybe some significant fundamental data of coming week will trigger this breakout. Maybe non-farm payrolls, maybe some other data. That's also possible. But that's not the point right now for us. The major point is what we could do. So the first, and this probably will be the conservative tactics, is to wait the breakout, and when the breakout will happen, after that, trying to catch the position in the direction of the breakout at some minor retracement. That's the safer way. Maybe this is very reasonable way to act in the current conditions, because we can't take long position right now, because we have the patterns, bearish patterns, that's still valid on the high time frame charts. And to take in short long position against these patterns until they are valid, it's not very reasonable, and it's really risky. At the same time, market behaves a bit not quite normal with these bearish patterns. It means that we in general could try to take the short position, but we need to do this in a moment that will guarantee us or let us to take the position with minimum risk. Because if we will be right, the risk-reward ratio will be tremendous, and if we will be wrong, our loss should be very small. We could act only in this way in the current conditions, because we can take significant risk in the current environment. We do not have any hard rock reliable pattern on our back right now. We have some curious action, although we have patterns, but action is really curious, and it's very difficult to find some reasons to take some really position right now. Well, that's why a second moment is trying to take the position as closer to the invalidation point as possible to minimize risk. Our invalidation points stand right here, and in general inside of this unfilled gap, right above this top, because that is the top of the bearish stop grabber. So if market will erase it and continue to move higher, we will not have any bearish patterns on our back. And from that standpoint, that is some kind of the invalidation point. Well, right now, if we'll take a look at the 4-hour time frame chart, you'll see that market stand in the range after starting move to the downside. So move down has happened, market has shifted to the range. Since it stands in the range on the second week in a row, you can see how weekly points, pivot points, envelop this range. That's normal. That's just coming from the calculation way of the pivots. And you can see that the weekly pivot point stands right in the middle of the range. Here is weekly pivot resistance one, right at the hour invalidation point. Here's weekly pivot support one. So it means that probably we should search for a possibility to take in short position is closer to the invalidation point and upper border of this consolidation as possible, with placing stop somewhere above the gap. Okay, and watch what will happen, because currently I don't see any other opportunities for trading. We have no clear patterns, we have some curious action. All that we could do, even this way that I'm now talking about, is not suitable for everybody. That also only for those who understand the risks, that in fact we do not have any patience, we do not have clear and strong setup on our backs. That is not quite gambling, but that is some sort of the pain or gain situation. So you will be either in a great position that will let you to take the very significant action to the downside, or you will lose. But if you will take a loss, your risk will be very small. That will be not really significant. And the major choice here is just to decide, do you really want to take the position, take the part in this possible action or no? If not, and that's also a reasonable answer, in this case you probably should follow the conservative tactics. So wait for the breakout of this range, and after that trying to take the position in the direction of the breakout. That's also reasonable and understandably in the current situations absolutely normal. Well, also guys, we have this divergence with the MACD indicator, and in current environment that could mean that we have the bearish dynamic pressure. I'm not quite sure, but it seems that we really have it, because you take a look, that market stands flat and doesn't make any attempt to continue move higher, to break above this range, while MACD indicator shows upward action. That could suggest that market is in reality is heavier than it looks like and looks at the first glance, and that is also the bearish sign. So we have some not quite, as you can see, only hints, bearish hints, that we have weekly grabber here, so maybe this will be the bearish dynamic pressure and so on our back, not have clear patterns. So that's why the taking any position right now is a bit tricky. But what I do know is that I don't want to take the position against the bearish patterns until they are valid. Speaking about taking the short position, well, we just have discussed this moment. So think, decide. That's really tricky moment, and maybe it's really better to not take any position until the breakout. That's also logical choice if you will make this choice. For others who still will decide to take a short position here, trying to take it as close to this point as possible. That will just let you to escape from the significant losses if we will become wrong and market really will accelerate to the upside.